We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Jack and Jill here.
Yeah, welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I don't know my name.
That's right, Steve and Jack Mutala. And I'm Jill DeWitt. And we are broadcasting still from the lovely Valley of the Sun. It's nice to be home.
Today's Jill Friday, and she's going to talk about how to turn angry landowners into sellers.
Yep.
Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Let's skip all that. Greg wrote, if a buyer wants to close after January 1st for tax reasons, Jill note, boy, do I understand that.
This is very common. If you're new at this will happen to you for the rest of your life.
People are going to, side note, people are going to want to close. They're either going to want to close by the end of the year or after the first of the year. Watch what happens here this next quarter, the next 2 months. So Greg says, if a buyer wants to close after January 1st for tax reasons, is there a way to move through the majority of the closing docs prior to closing to eliminate the risk of the buyer getting a better offer or changing their mind along the way? Basically, I don't have any issues closing after January 1st, but I'm afraid the buyer could change their mind. So I'm trying to figure out if I can legally prevent them from being able to do that.
There's, that's why God created contracts. So you can write a contract about anything that you want and make them sign it and says, yeah, we happily will sell this to you after, before, or buyer, seller, whatever. Maybe you ask the person for more money in turn. So
I say set up your pick the closing date now. What's the first Monday or the first Tuesday in January?
I understand your point, and it's a very valid concern. Like, hey, this is a great deal. Well, on the buy or the sell side, and time kills deals. That's just the truth. And so more time is always worse with real estate deals. But we orchestrate our entire lives this time of year around taxes, and make all kinds of decisions based on that. So.
Well,
just have a binding side contract that says you are going to buy this or sell it. Period.
Yeah. I would get it all through title, get it going. What I would do? There would be weekly check-ins though too.
Yeah.
Between probably my team and
get some hard money. Get some hard money.
That's when I thought put some money in it because it's him buying it. The seller wants to do it after January 1st. I kind of want to move some money over, so then it's really a binding contract because money has changed hands.
Yep.
So I'd feel good about that. Like, we're going to release $500 now, though, towards this, even just a small amount.
Yeah, make it a little more real.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's Jill Friday. She's going to talk about how to turn angry landowners into sellers. This is the meat of the show.
It happens all the time. All the time. This is the majority of the calls you're going to get. We just had a career path session the other day, and one person was talking about this mailer that, like, everybody, all they want to do is yell at me. I'm like, well, what'd you get out of it? Nothing. They were all mad at me. Well, that's what I get too, every day. They're calling, my team or me, when they get the mailers hit, and they're mad about it. Not everybody, I'll be honest, but when the first wave hits, you lovingly call it the hate. It's like, what? How dare they send me an offer? That's their first anger moment, by the way.
Where'd you get my information?
Yeah, they're first pissed off about that. It's nothing to do with the price or you. Just this came in my mail and I don't want it. Why are you bugging me with this? You took time to send me this and what the heck? So that's the first phase. The second phase is they still might be mad or unhappy. Now they may not like the price, but there's something there. And then as time goes on, then they're more and more into it, warmed up. They've seen your letter. It's hung on their fridge for a month now, and they're approaching the expiration date on it, and they're going to call you about it. So the point I want to talk about today, not all sellers or not all landowners are angry. Some are really excited, especially if you overprice a mailer, but that's a whole nother show. But how do I just deal with these guys? They're angry. They just call me and I feel like I'm not going to get anything out of this mailer. Yeah, you are. There's 3 things you got to do here to turn these guys around. Number 1 is calm them down. calm them down, sympathize with them, make a joke even. That's what I'll do. Like, oops, I'm sorry. How many zeros did I forget? Noted. Got it. You know what? I'd fire the guy that did my mail, but I'm sleeping with him, so I can't. I've done that. Totally serious. That makes him laugh, right? You can't. It's a little hard to be mad when you're like, my guy might have screwed up. And I never admit it, because sometimes I'll go back in these situations and they'll take money away. So my guy definitely didn't screw up. But I'll say, there's a chance. It's not a perfect science. Maybe we missed something. So you could do that in just a couple sentences. Gosh, a minute or two.
I'm from Detroit. If someone yells at me, I'm going to yell back. That's my initial reaction, and it's wrong. Joe's from Disneyland. Her initial reaction if somebody yells at her is to smile and calm them down and be their friend.
Yeah.
And so whoever's answering your phone needs to have that Disneyland mentality or learn it.
Mm-hmm.
So
be able to take it.
Yes.
And be able to
and turn it in. This is what professional sales really is, in my opinion.
Yep.
Professional corporate sales. That's what Jill's spent her entire career in.
Right. So here's what's going to happen. So number one, calm them down, sympathize with them. Maybe we did make a mistake, right? That's your sympathizing with them. Next step. They're obviously got some questions. Well, who the heck are you? Answer your questions. Answer that. Not in a long, drawn out 10-minute thing. Well, I started in corporate, fill in the blank. And then I decided I didn't want to be a pharmacist anymore. And so then I found Land Academy in 2016. Don't go. And they taught me how to do this. Don't go down that path. But, just answer whatever questions they have about who the heck are you? You know what? I'm really small. It's my husband and I.
Yeah.
And did you look us up? That's me. Yeah, I know, right? Great hair day. And, make a joke. I don't know. But to answer whatever little questions they have, in a nice way. Who you are, you're a very small company, you're one of the owners, and here's the great news. I'm not a big corporation, and whatever number you and I agree on is the number you're going to get on your check. That's the beauty here. I don't have to go to anybody, and you're doing this to build a rapport with them. You're just a person just like them, and this is your business, is buying and selling land. All right. Now we've calmed them down. They know who we are. We're all hopefully working towards the same goal here, right? And what we're trying to do is to finish that point. The goal is, all right, the only last thing we need to know is, do you want to sell? Sounds like you do. They're going, yep, I do. And then number two is, does my price work? And if it doesn't work, what price does? That's it. We just want to get on the same page, because why? You want to sell, I want to buy. The only missing piece is the dollar amount here. And let's go back to, remember, you know who I am. I'm not an agent. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. I'm not a big company. But I have all these expenses and all these things. So what's a good price?
Don't be like me. It took me a really long time to digest and understand and fully get on board with that this is imperative.
Yeah.
What Joe's describing is not optional. You might get away a few times with getting a bunch of purchase agreements back, never talking on the phone at all, maybe calling the people back where they signed the purchase agreements just to arrange a closing. You might get away with that a few times. But if this is going to be your career and you really want to make $10 million, accumulate $10 million like I was explaining yesterday, you need to learn how to do this very, very effectively. All the resources in Land Academy are here for that. Or you need to find somebody and partner with them like I did, like I did with Jill, because this has to happen to have long-term success.
Right. You're leaving money on the table if you're not doing this. If you're waiting for only signed purchase agreements and then you pick the best of those, you missed a lot. They called you back for a reason.
I spent a lot of time talking about data and pricing and the technical part of this, but the social corporate sales part of this is some of our most successful members are Joe's, not Jack's.
You know
In
what?
fact, most of them are.
Thank you. Some of these calls too, you need to know, they didn't sign and send your offer back because it was $18,192. They need $21,000 to pay off, fill in the blank. And if you had been able to talk to them on the phone and find out they only need an extra $2,000 to $3,000, well, shoot, you could do that. That was the missing piece. You wouldn't know unless you talked to them. That's what you're trying to figure out. And that often happens that way. It's often a little thing. I offered them 8, they need 10. I can do 10. I know how we price these things.
You have to meet these people from where they're coming. A lot of these people bought property when they were a lot younger, and they were going to retire there, or they were going to vacation there, and it just didn't pan out. Stuff happened, and so the thought of selling it really upsets them.
Yeah.
And so they take it out on you. But you have to meet these people.
You have to know
get them
that,
to talk
be
about
nice
that.
and understand.
Maybe the person bought
sympathize.
it, and now they're now deceased, and their spouse has to deal with it, and it's one more thing they have to deal with because the estate wasn't organized or whatever. But in the end, you are solving a problem for most of them.
So that's the thing you need to remember. That's exactly right. So there's a reason they're calling you, and it's usually not because it's a situation that they're in. So you need to, as my last point is this, do it as quickly as possible. You really don't have the time to spend an hour on the phone with everybody, understanding what really went on in the world and led them up to finally calling you today. You can do this in really 5 to 10 minutes. I want to make it closer to 5 if you can. The shorter the better, because you got other people calling you who need your time and have great deals right after you hang up the phone. There's going to be another good one, I promise. So as quickly as you can. And how do you get this good, by the way? Practice. Just do it. Don't be afraid. Pick up the phone. Write these steps down that I just covered. Have my checklist. It's free on the landinvestors.com website. On the left-hand side, it's Jill's inbound land seller checklist. So you know all the questions to ask them when they call you back to make sure you get everything you need to go do your due diligence. You know we talked about that. And you'll do it. You'll get there. And that's why you're here. And happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I wonder how many deals are really, truly left on the table because of this. I bet it's staggering.
Yeah.
We'll never know. There's no such thing as a split test for it.
Yeah, it's true. You need to be on it. You need to call, and if you miss a call them back.
You need to absolutely embrace this, not loathe it.
Right.
If you loathe it, you're going to stop doing it eventually. So just get somebody else to do it.
Exactly. That's it. You can't let this kill your business.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that get frustrated
tons.
and they say, I can't do this land thing because I can't take the phone calls. So don't give up because of that. Like you just said, get Pat Live to answer the phone for you if you need to do that too. There's lots of ways to work around this.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.